Hi, West Texas, and welcome into another episode of our VCAS series, Chat with the Chief, featuring San Angelo Police Chief Travis Griffith. Chief, it's been a couple of weeks. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. The weather is wonderful, and it's always a blessing to be here.
Yes, the weather is great. I'm happy we're out of that cold streak or cold stretch. Remember, Chief Meteorologist Burt will have all of the forecast updates up on our website, foxwtx.com. Chief, let's go right into it. So on Tuesday evening, you and SAPD held your latest advisory meeting.
Yeah.
This time it was on the southwest side of the city at Sierra Vista United Methodist Church. Sure. You've held a few of these. Last night, what did the people want to know? What maybe kind of concerns did they bring up to you and your team?
Yeah, it was a wonderful turnout, and I want to say thank you to everybody that did come out. And we had a lot of our team members there, so we were able to address concerns of everything from burglaries and maybe issues they had where they had problems with their reports or something like that they had filed in the past. And we just kind of addressed some things that we're still growing into this new administration, and we're still making sure that we're doing some checks and balances on some things to make sure that the citizens are being taken care of the way they should be. And so we addressed those, and we talked about crime update, kind of talking about burglaries and property crime was on the big conversation topic. And so it was a wonderful time to be able to it was a real informal. I think we had like 45 people there, something like that. And so we were able to have a good round table talk after we were over giving a presentation.
Are you happy with how these advisory meetings are going, and do you see this as a continued thing here with SAPD?
Yeah, I really am. Notoriously, any type of town hall meetings are really not very well attended. And so anytime we're getting, I think the most we've had is like somewhere around 80 people, and then we had this one, that was 45. So it's like, it is a good way to connect. We're in this world where social media and all the technology, we're supposed to be more connected than ever, but we're really more disconnected as a people, right? So we don't have true, real good conversations, and we don't seem to really hear each other. We're just trying to listen to one side versus the other, and I think in this regard, it gives everybody an understanding to know what the issues we face. We can hear from citizens to hear what they face on a daily basis, and it helps. So I think we plan on moving to the southeast part of town next, and that will kind of complete the whole town at that point, and then we'll start over. Start walking through it.
Hey, we'll be keeping our eyes out for it and asking you about all the updates.
Thanks.
Speaking of getting together, earlier this week at Paul Ann Church, you and SAPD had a very important meeting with church safety teams. What was that meeting like, and what did you go over, and how was the feedback from the church safety team members?
Well, we had like over 12 churches, and we had over 120 people there. It was a wonderful time. Say thank you to the new Chick-fil-A up there at 23rd Bryant. Helps provide some meals for those folks. And we had an opportunity to really just kind of lean into the fact of they're going to be the first ones there, right? They're not quite, security. The state of Texas delineates of not being security, but they're going to be the first ones on scene. Anything happens, whether that be somebody falling through a plate glass window or somebody dealing with mental health issues or somebody that actually tried to physically harm people, they will be the first ones there. So the more that they know what we do and what to expect from us when we do arrive, and then also how to deal with individuals that they are going to encounter more times than not, that makes a safer environment for San Angelo. So it makes a lot of sense for us to put time and resources into that. And it was a need. It was something that nobody's really tried to do before. I think it's something that we really need to lean into.
Obviously churchgoers, and where I go, you see the men and women that you could tell are part of a safety team, for lack of a better term.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times, I think from the average citizen's point of view, for lack of a better term, whether it's at church or the mall, you kind of never really think anything could happen in terms of someone trying to cause physical violence. You turn on the news and you see it's a shooting, but it could also be an altercation between a certain group of people that you just happen to see. If we're out at the mall, if we're at church and we happen to see something that we think could impact the safety of ourselves, our families, and everyone else there. Any tips that you think we should keep in mind?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the old adage, if you see something, say something, right? So if you see a security officer or an officer working security at one of those events, whether that be at church or if you see something that you believe part of a safety team, letting them know about somebody. If there's none of those things there, then call us. Hey, there's somebody over here that just doesn't look right? I don't understand why. Just it seems off to me. They're doing A, B, and C. We see a lot of times where we'll have a large winter coat on in weather like this, right? They will have a lot of backpacks in a place that you wouldn't normally see backpacks or something like that. Those things would be some indicators. At that point, be self-aware. Where's the exits? Where don't people? I forget the percentage. It's a very high percentage of people go right back to the same place they came in at. They forget to take the note of the different exits so that you can get out if something was to kick off. While you're being a good witness, all of a sudden something happened. The best thing to do to help get other people out of there and you get out of there, right? So be aware of it. And I think the more that we have, we see this online too, where people will say something, maybe they have a family member or a friend or somebody that's acquaintance that they know is saying some things about, doing some sort of action that could hurt people. Letting us know about that. It's better for us to investigate and try to get somebody the help they need versus the afterthought.
Wise words as always, Chief. Switching gears a little bit, this week, quite the interesting situation where a patrol lieutenant had noticed a stolen vehicle, and 4 people were inside. Officers described those people as 4 juveniles, would never ask you age, name, anything like that. But quite the situation where it was kind of a low-speed chase, and the 4 juveniles jumped out of this vehicle, which then kept rolling through Santa Fe Park, and thankfully it didn't turn into a water salvage operation because the car stopped, I don't know, we'll say mere feet from the bank. Quite the situation to have going on in town. Yeah,
I think we've had somewhere right around 10 pursuits in the last 6 months or so. So it's not unusual for us. It did work out very well. Our team did an outstanding job. That lieutenant was just right time, right place, and then had the wherewithal to see that it was the vehicle we'd been looking for. We've been working on trying to share information faster and better. And we have some great commanders out there that are making sure that the teams are working as efficiently as possible. And this is just a great example of a patrol lieutenant being out there with his troops working, being the kind of that force multiplier in the circumstances, was able to take action effectively and do a great job. So Lieutenant Kennedy, one of our newer lieutenants, and great guy.
We also, our team saw Sergeant Bellini out there, so make sure you tell him we said hi.
Yeah, we will.
West Texas. You had mentioned that there's been, string is too strong of a word, some pursuits in town over the past several months. It seems like over the past couple of months we have seen an uptick in vehicle wrecks as well. Just with that in mind, any words of wisdom to people when they're getting behind the wheel? Because whether it's at night, in the morning, or the afternoon, these things seem to keep happening.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about driving operations, the best thing is to always give yourself extra time, right? If you're planning on going somewhere, try to leave a little bit earlier, right? Because when you have that extra time, you're not feeling that pressure, right, to get there in the fastest possible. That you can take your time and enjoy the ride and get focused on whatever you're going to be doing there. Mentally prepare yourself, gives you that just extra little bit too. And then give yourself plenty of following distance, right? You want to place a lot of car links in between that car you're following. The estimations, whatever you go back to driving school or whatever would tell you, for every 10 miles an hour, you put 1 car length, right, in between you and the car that's behind you. Having good, clean windshields, right, and having good sunglasses in the evening hours and early morning hours is huge, right? And so those types of things, and don't speed. For every little bit fast every little bit you go faster is taking longer to stop. So those are solid things, and be watchful and be a defensive driver. That's the part that we don't. If we're in a hurry and we're right on somebody's tail, then you're not going to have that time to stop, and you're going to be focused on trying to get around them and not thinking about what's going to happen, and they stop quicker than you can stop, and then you have a crash.
And then chain reaction as well.
Yes, sir.
We've seen those
Yes,
as
sir.
well. One story that's really gripping a lot of headlines, and even nationally now, is the spread of measles here in West Texas. And we know from officials that there was an individual from Gaines County who went down to San Marcos, who ended up stopping at the Allsups and Wall on Highway 87 South twice over the Valentine's Day weekend. Fortunately, so far, there have been no confirmed cases in Tom Green County. I know this is a health alert, not a crime alert, but
Sure.
I imagine that this is something you and the department are keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, we always watch to see kind of where our health stuff like that's trending, because that's going to affect our ability to respond. And if you have that run through your department, it's something to be thinking about. Right now, it's something to just be watchful of. I think anybody that's out there, be cognizant of the fact that this is ongoing, something to watch. And the more that you know about things, and the more you have the opportunity to have that forethought into it for you and your own safety and what you do. But that's kind of where we're at. We're watching it as an organization to see, hey, what's the spread going to be like? Is it going to be lower because something getting under control? Health department here locally has been working with the state. Super impressed with those guys locally. So we hope that they continue to track down and get those things isolated.
Chief, any final thoughts, words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I would say that the thing that's been on my mind lately is, if you are not changing something, right, you're accepting something, right? So that you don't change, you own, right? So if you have something in your life that's going on, pain, suffering, it could be anything from that to just something that you want to improve upon. If you're not changing it, you're accepting that. So push in the area where you want to see improvement. You know, don't be complacent in the fact that nobody's going to do it for you. Right? Step up and do what you can to be the person that you want to be. That person you want to be is inside you already. Right? You don't have to go out there and find it, dig it out, dust it off, go to work.
Chief, you always have some great final thoughts, and I appreciate you being here as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
That'll do it for another episode of our VCast series, Chat with the Chief, with San Angelo Police Chief Travis Griffith. I'm Burt Sempier. We'll see you next time, West Texas.